Welcome everybody. Thank you so much for coming to our annual Learning and Teaching Conference. It is, as always, wonderful to see so many people here. I know it's a busy time of year. I don't think there's a time in the year anymore that isn't busy, so I really appreciate you giving up time today to come and think about technology-enhanced learning, to learn from colleagues, and to perhaps try something new. So I'm not going to speak very long because I'm going to introduce Sal in a moment, but just a couple of things to point you to during the day. Throughout the day, we've got R110, our Technology Enhanced Learning Room. That's available throughout the day. There are people there from Library and Computer Services and the Learning and Teaching Innovation Centre. They've got various activities and information set up within the room. So do pop by at any time and explore something within the Technology Enhanced Learning Room. You'll also see outside in the atrium area the Learning and Teaching Innovation Awards posters. So we were thrilled that people who achieved the Learning and Teaching Innovation Award this year have been doing their projects, which are just brilliant, and a real range and depth of activities. And they've all produced a poster, so you can see the type of work that's been going on through the Innovation Awards. Also in R110, we've got our team about digital capabilities. So please pop in there, think about digital capabilities. We'll be hearing from Sarah about that as our keynote speaker. But also as well, Andrew Burgess from the Learning and Teaching Innovation Centre is doing some roaming filming. So if you'd like to speak to him about how you feel about your digital capability, then we'd really like to capture some sound bites from people throughout the day. There's also a careers and employment stand within R110, so please do visit there and see how careers and employment are using technology to support students to gain placement and employment upon graduation. And also as well, there are some visualizations. As you registered just outside of here, you'll have seen some corkboards with some quite strange looking things on them. They are our data visualizations from our pre-conference Fringe event, which you'll hear a bit more about later on. But do go over and have a look. And if you've got a mobile phone, particularly an iPhone, then you can just use your camera and a QR code will pop up so you can watch a video of people explaining their visualizations. If you haven't got an iPhone, you can download the app so you'll be able to watch via the QR codes. Also, you'll see the QR codes on the Learning and Teaching Innovation posters, and from our mid-year symposium about the Innovation Awards, people spoke about their projects. So again, you'll be able to hear them talking about their projects and what they've been doing. I would like to remind you all as well to tweet during the day. We've got our hashtag, and also be aware that there will be some photography and filming. So if you don't want your image used, please do let one of us know. After lunch, we'll also be asking you to try something new. So we've got a kind of experiential session after lunch from 2:30 till 3:15, and there are various activities in the different rooms. So in the Western Auditorium, we'll be looking at tools to ensure in-class engagement, particularly in large groups. There's virtual reality with Andrew Marinchek in R115, so really exploring real future developments within education. Jonathan and Solani are going to be in R129 to look at the use of quizzes within Canvas for formative and summative assessments. Andrew Piper is running a participatory workshop, so thinking about how we can use participatory design in a very hands-on workshop session in R147. You can join Peter Thomas, who's going to lead a debate. So actually thinking about how do we use some external tools, social media, particularly Twitter and Facebook, and the risks and challenges posed by them, but also the potential for them. So there'll be a bit of a debate going on in our M147. M144, Pete Chalk from Learning and Teaching Innovation Centre is leading a session on how to use lecture capture, which is something that will be rolling out over the next couple of years within the university. So come and explore what's already been happening and how you can use that in the future. And then in R110, that room will at that point be used to showcase some of our excellent Canvas sites that have been developed using our guided learner journey, so how people have used Canvas and Tallis to support the student learning. And Lucy and Karen will be guiding people through those, and there'll also be a little bit of a competition. So do go to that session if you want to think about how you can improve your Canvas sites and your module sites, gain some ideas and inspiration, and also see what people are doing. Okay, at that point, I'm going to stop and hand over to Sarah Jarvis, our Pro Vice Chancellor, Education and Student Experience.
morning all, and welcome to the 15th annual Learning and Teaching Conference at the University of Hertfordshire. I'm a little bit gutted today actually because for the first time since I joined the university I'm not going to be here for the whole of the conference. Somewhat to my surprise, I find myself at my 40th wedding anniversary. Time was while I thought we wouldn't get past the first year, and here we are at 40. So I have a long-standing engagement with my other half and have to catch a flight from Birmingham at lunchtime. So I'm just here, but I have had a chance to read the booklet, to talk to quite a few of you, and of course to look at the posters. And I'm not going to talk for long now because I don't want to keep you from the main event, which is of course Sarah, who I know you're waiting for. But I just wanted to say that this is the social event on the calendar for those of us interested in learning and teaching. And I use the word social advisedly. From a theoretical perspective, perhaps, I come from a social constructivist perspective, from a practice-based perspective. And those words are used in a number of different ways. You know, we often see them used as a way, to think about how learning should be constructed, a normative sense of it, that we ought to be doing this, or as a practical tool. And both of those things are good. But where I come from is that this is what happens. We don't learn in a bubble. We don't teach in a bubble. Learning and teaching is socially constructed between us and our students, before and after and during any kind of teaching session. And if that's the case, then how we construct our learning and teaching really matters. And so this conference is important because it is an opportunity to think about how we are constructing our learning and teaching in partnership with the other people, students and staff, that we work with. And of course today the particular focus is technology enhanced learning, so there's a real opportunity to look at some of the resources which we might be using within our communities of practice to develop learning and teaching. And it's not about having a tool or a new toy, tempting as that is sometimes, particularly when I look at some of the virtual reality that is out there. It is about how can we use this to change what we do to enhance the ways in which that learning and teaching community works together. What can we do that will support students' increased engagement, that will find ways of supporting students personally through their learning journey, that will enable people to work collaboratively, even when they're at a distance perhaps, not in the same place. As I said, I've been wandering around and talking and listening and looking, and here's a little list. I have a rubbish memory, which I've discovered is a bit of a drawback for an academic, but there we go. So I've had a look at what there was, and this is what I've found. So we have today digital storytelling, use of OneNote, use of Notebook, Canvas, of course, video and audio feedback, Plickers, is that even a thing? Someone can tell me about that later. Video Scribe, web apps, Sketch Engine, virtual reality, electronic voting systems, Facebook, Twitter, and of course lecture capture. And I've probably missed something out of that list. So there's a range of resources there that you can explore and take away. And what I'd encourage you to do, today is a feast, be a glutton, use everything that you can, find out as many, and please, please, please take a goodie bag away with you. When you go off from here, go away with some ideas that you can talk to colleagues about and students about and develop in your own practice, because that's what this conference is really about. And while I'm on, that reminds me, Helen mentioned the Learning and Teaching Awards. And there's a new round of Learning and Teaching Awards now open, and it's on the LTIC website. I'm looking down at LTIC people, I think it's there. And UHQ came out a little while. So if you go away from this conference with great ideas, then have a look at the Learning and Teaching Awards and see if you can work something up. The priorities are threefold. They're the strategic strand priorities for this year. So that is firstly about student engagement, anything that you can think of to enhance student engagement. Secondly, about the ways that we can teach to minimise the differential assessment outcomes between different groups of students, for example, the BME attainment group, and thirdly, staff professional development and how we can enhance that. So those are the three themes that the Learning and Teaching Awards are around this year. So do have a look, have a think on the back of today. Okay, I'm quite surprised, and you might be too, that I've got this far without mentioning TEF Gold. So, here's the thing. We know probably as a community that something like TEF Gold is a badge, isn't it? And it's a badge within a performative managerial system that we all know and love. But it's something else as well. It is also recognition from a panel of our peers, not civil servants, not people from anywhere else, students and staff, that what we do at the University of Hertfordshire is outstanding. And that, for all the caveats I want to put around it, is absolutely worth having. That is real recognition of the quality of what we do. I want to say a couple of thank yous. My first thank you is to the team that worked with me to write the submission. That's Frank Haddleton, Catherine Rendell, Sharon Harrison-Barker, Shelby Lowsby, last year's Hertfordshire Student Union President, Karen Barton, Helen Barefoot, Tina Pruden, my EA, who organised it, and our critical friends, Tamsin James, our Head of Policy, and Jerry Forrester, erstwhile Dean of the Business School. And within that, I want to offer a special mention to Karen, because in top of doing her share of the bits of writing, her share of the bits of critiquing, Karen also drove us all together to take our, 24 pages, and drive them down to 15, and to provide a really strong authorial voice through the document that you will see, and it's Karen's voice you'll see when you read the document, which is up on our website. So thank you to the whole team, particular thanks to Karen. But more than that, thank you to you, because yes, we wrote it, but we had to write something. And we had to write about something. And what we wrote about was what all of you do day in, day out, day after day, to ensure that the students here have the best possible opportunity to develop and transform their lives in partnership with us. And that's like gold dust. And so thank you. And I'm going to stop there and hand over to Sarah.